Afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at 4 o'clock, and we begin with new details emerging about the shooter who took 2 lives and injured 18 others inside a Minneapolis church yesterday. But the most important clue really remains elusive. What provoked a 23-year-old former student to take such deadly, unimaginable action?
So the investigation's underway, and law enforcement agencies are doing their work right now to answer some of those questions. And the community is responding by gathering to support each other through a tragedy that unfortunately in this country has become all too familiar. Ivan Rodriguez in Minneapolis right now, where survivors, families, and officials are grappling with grief and also anger.
And we want to warn you first, you may find some of the following images graphic and upsetting.
Our love is greater than that evil.
By candlelight, in a gymnasium with a makeshift altar, and on their knees praying before a sidewalk memorial. The people of Minneapolis look for comfort in the aftermath of Wednesday's tragic mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church. Incredible images continue to surface, like this one from a parent showing children and staff rushing from the sanctuary minutes after the gunfire ended. That parent, a father of 2 young survivors, praised school officials.
The principal stayed so calm at DeBoer, and he was ushering kids out.
Principal Matthew DeBoer welcomes community prayers, but is urging for more.
But don't stop with your words. Let's make a difference and support this community. Never again can we let this happen.
Investigators are focusing on the deceased shooter, 23-year-old Robin Westman.
What we have found so far, unfortunately, is a classic pathway to violence for an active shooter or a mass shooter.
Police say they're looking into a manifesto that Westman posted on social media, along with hundreds of other pieces of evidence.
This is an individual that harbored a whole lot of hate towards many people.
The school has trained for active shooters in the past, and the sanctuary doors were locked during Mass Wednesday. That's when police say Westman improvised.
This coward committed this act by shooting from outside the church through the windows.
But the biggest question remains. Why did this happen?
The reality is this is completely senseless and just an unthinkable tragedy.
In Minneapolis, I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Shalom, giving all praises to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem Karkadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders everywhere. Peace and many salutations to Yakim that's tooling in his truth. I found this very interesting. This situation. The fact that you had this another Edomite mass shooter, and this is on the brink of the whole mantra that America is tired of black people, or they have so-called black fatigue. And I wonder, and I wondered to myself, I wonder if there's going to be a mantra, that's going to be brought out for white fatigue. Now, don't get twisted. 2/3 of our people, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, are wicked, and they will be taken out of the way by Yahweh Shemel Shah. We don't condone the actions of 2/3 of our people, especially the violence that we see in the inner cities. You know what I'm saying? The arrested department, behavior that we see in so-called black culture and Latino culture. These are things that we adamantly, preach against, here at GMS, in other counts. But, we tell our people, constantly to refine themselves, turn back to the Heavenly Father, at least they be destroyed. So there's, we hold our people accountable. But when it comes to Esau Edom has a great way of, categorizing himself, and with these various categories, they're able to separate themselves from certain actions. Case in point, the whole liberal versus conservative, dichotomy. these white people are able, these Edomites are able to say, oh, well, he was a liberal, so he's not my type of white. It's not all of us. But when it comes to us, we're lumped together. We're lumped together and we're scrutinized. And this is what Esau Edom does, man. Esau Edom, he rationalized his hatred, via, these various big words and things of that nature. But in all actuality, this guy has been the most hateful person on planet Earth, via colonialism, imperialism. This dude has done a lot of heinous things, man. And that wickedness comes out, right? Yeah, Jake, we'll fight amongst each other, behind something petty. But, Jake is not shooting up schools on a mass level. Jake is not CAing children on a mass level. And more than likely, that dude was a victim of CA, in the Catholic Church. Something, that's been going on for hundreds of years. PDF files been going on for hundreds of years. If you do research on, who's number one in SA, when it comes to children, it's Esau Edom, man. All right, so Esau Edom preys on the weak. He preys on, children. Okay, in his nature, no matter how much he likes to, demonize us, his nature always comes out. And this is a prime example. So let's get you some scriptures. Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They are astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Right? So Esau Edom, has always had so-called black fatigue. He's always had a disdain for the so-called Negro, which are the true Israelites, right? Are a tribe of the Israelites, the head tribe, the Judites. He's always had a hatred towards them. Okay, and it showed via his actions, via history. You had the slavery, which happened in 619 to the late 1800s, and after slavery, the Reconstruction era, that's when various terrorist groups were erected. The Ku Klux Klan, that came from the Christian church, to terrorize Judah, right? Which these actions were condoned by the vast amount of white Christian churches. Actually, certain churches that were created by Judah was burnt down, and destroyed by Esau Edom, right? Certain business cities and things of that nature, which we created, were destroyed by Esau Edom. Tulsa is an infamous example, but there was hundreds of cities. Jake was barred from receiving certain lines of credit via redlining and just blatant discrimination. Right? And you had the civil rights era, okay, which there still was discrimination going on. Hell, Texas didn't desegregate until about 1973, right? In which you still have now redlining going on and things of that nature. Jake still staying in hyper-segregated, areas, okay? Jake is fed poison, right? The worst of the worst, and fed mentally crap, demonic messages via rap music, all types of music that Jake listens to now, which is controlled by these main corporations, right? So Esau Edom has done a great job, at rationalizing his wickedness towards us via, via religion, via pseudoscience, right? To condone his wickedness. And now, it's really blaming on monsters that he created. It's, the whole concept of so-called black people and things of that nature, all that came from Esau Edom, man. That's the problem of the earth, bro. Right? Now, we still have to be responsible for our actions. This is why we out there on the highways and byways and we're preaching repentance, right? And we know that 2/3 of our people are not going to. They're going to be destroyed by the Heavenly Father, right? But the person who created the whole concept of white, black, right, thugs and goons and all this, was Esau Edom, man, right? The so-called black culture is nothing but a hyperbole of all the vices of white culture. Over-sexualization. You want to talk about violence? Oh my goodness, hyper-violent, right? Very individualistic, which it goes back to Greek culture. Okay, right? All these vices that you see came from really American culture, man. But yet somehow he blames us, right? This shows you that this guy's tongue is poison. Verse 4. The poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break the teeth, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. In the mouth break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Yahweh. Right? So we're looking for them to be destroyed. When you break the teeth of a lion, you're destroying their power. The power of a lion lies in the teeth and the jaw. Right? And with this truth, this is what we're doing. We're breaking down these strongholds that Esau Edom has implemented with his lies, bro. Okay? His lies. Let them melt away as water which runs continuously. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces, as a snail which melteth. Let every one of them pass away. Let the untimely birth of a woman, like the untimely birth of a woman, that may not see the sun. Before your pots can feel the thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind by living and in the wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. That's right. So we're going to be recompense for all the wickedness that we had to endure here. America has been a huge concentration camp for the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, man. Right? The so-called Negro has endured really a neo-caste system to where your skin color dictates your hierarchy in society for a substantial amount of time, man. Right? And really should still unto this day. You might have some that still that are of us that are, are successful, things of that nature. But overall, we're deemed as the untouchables, right? Much like the darker skin of India was considered the untouchables. The people to avoid. And a lot of that has to do with our actions, with Jake's actions. Jake is a wild bull. Jake is wicked. We have had very, very, very good teachers, man. Right? This is why this ministry is so important, to turn away from the ways of the world and turn back to the Heavenly Father. But Esau Edom, you're not going to get off the hook for all this wickedness you have produced throughout the world, man. Right? And your way and your culture, you know, and the vices of your culture and your wickedness, it shows. And it's shown even with this mass shooting, which you people love to do so much. Okay? So vengeance is coming, man. All right? 2/3 of our people, so-called Negro, Latino, and Americans, man, that ghetto shit, you're going to get taken out of the way by the Heavenly Father. Most High's going to destroy your ass. But Esau Edom, man, for your wickedness and your perpetual hatred, the Most High's going to take you out. All right? You exhibited nothing but hatred towards the nation of Israel. Right? In particular, the head tribe, the Judites. All right? Pray this edifying. Shalom.